with the new video format. It's my favorite skincare and how to use it. We're starting with cleansers. For a gentle cleanse, I've got a few great options. An oil cleanser, this one by Mixun, is great for blackheads. This Orencia Rosehip Rice Mochi Cleanser is also great for a gentle cleanse on sensitive and mildly irritated skin. To continue with blackheads, if I can read over all of these. I love this lime and avocado cleanser is great for acne, but also this whipped LHA exfoliating grapefruit cleanser has a perfect, gentle texture that easily, for me, has removed not only makeup, but just this film that gets over my skin when I haven't been taking care of it properly. So that works amazing. Back to sensitive skin. Mugwort, mug tree, with a little bit of salicylic acid is great for sensitive skin that is acne prone. This, I still don't know how to say this. I don't know what this is. I don't know how to say this. But I love this cleanser for when my skin has been super, super irritated and just nothing else has been doing it for me. And I just don't feel like reaching for my Mochi cleanser. This lavender vitamin B cleanser. I don't know what this is. I don't know. Oh, I know what it is. I just don't know how to say it. I'm doing great. But this lavender cleanser is just another really great option that's not going to irritate the skin. It's done so well for me specifically as a makeup remover. Just getting everything off of my skin and giving me a truly clean start without dehydrating my skin, which is super important. This is a pack cleanser. This is amazing. This does what I want my clay masks to do. So it clears and snatches the pores temporarily. It does what a clay mask does, basically. It just real small. It not permanently, but it works so well for clearing and helping the look of my open pores. In any good skincare routine, you have a toner. Now, I am not accustomed to any other forms of toner aside from toner pads and liquid toners, and we're going to start with the basics. A good old-fashioned niacinamide toner is great for brightening and for hydrating. Niacinamide is, for me, light doses, a fantastic way to just rehydrate the skin and get it ready for the rest of my steps. I love this Equalberry toner. I still don't know how to say this, and I don't even know everything that it does, but this has done wonders for clearing my acne. If you don't know where to start with your acne skincare routine, this video is probably the video for you. This cleanser, goodness gracious, this toner pairing with this gentle exfoliating cleanser has been the duo for me so far. Of course, my skin's going to change. It's not always going to be the perfect duo for me. But right now, finally being at the tail end of just dealing with a lot of things with my skin, this has been amazing in clearing my acne. Now for toner pads. Vitamin C is great for brightening. It's great for helping your skin heal. For those of you who don't know, scurvy is the lack of vitamin C. It causes rashes, it causes old wounds to open if it gets really bad. And so vitamin C is great at just keeping the skin together, keeping it glowy, keeping it just at peak health. Highly recommend these toner pads. If you're looking for a starter toner pad, these ones by Glow Recipe are fantastic. I don't know why my hand was like that. This is not close. If you don't want an exfoliating cleanser, but you don't want to use a harsh scrub, LHA and AHA are great gentle exfoliants, and using them in toner pad form are the best way to exfoliate carefully without irritating the skin or damaging the skin barrier. Lastly, I love these vegan PDRN toner pads. These are great for soothing, great for redness, great for soothing general irritation, especially after dermaplating or extracting. These are amazing. Like right after these and a light moisturizer are fantastic for irritated skin. I love these vegan ones. I have a pretty severe fish allergy, so just having the vegan option, knowing that it works, is amazing. For me, serums and facial sprays are going to be the meat and potatoes of your skincare routine. It's going to have usually your most active ingredients. If you're using a gentle moisturizer, a ceramide moisturizer, this is going to be your meat and potatoes. This is where your active ingredients come in. This is a 10% niacinamide serum. This is significantly stronger than goodness, I'm tripping over my words because I'm trying to talk fast. I don't know why. This I don't use with my niacinamide toner usually, because if you use too many strong actives, too much of one active, it can screw up your skin barrier so quickly, and it will take a long time for it to go back to the way that it was. But this is great when I am especially dealing with some really bad dark spots, or just like really bad acne scars. This has been fantastic. You only need a little bit at a time. You don't want to overwhelm your skin barrier with too much. Otherwise, it does more harm than good. Like a light probiotic facial mist, I use this one. Just a light spritz for me right before I do my moisturizer is great if I'm just keeping it simple, if my skin doesn't need too much. And it's great in keeping my skin healthy, keeping it hydrated, keeping it clear. I love this. I do have videos where I go more into depth on the ingredients. I'm mostly just showing you what works. This is great for when your skin's feeling super dry, when it just needs a little bit of everything. This Orencia rice mucin has collagen, hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, a little bit of everything. The thicker, slimy texture is going to add more moisture immediately, and it's going to hold instead of just absorbing instantly and then disappearing, and you're still dry like 15 minutes later. And it's vegan. Love it. This vitamin serum, as you can tell, I have been using the hell out of it, is fantastic for just giving my skin a boost, for keeping it bright, for keeping it healthy. I say that about a lot of things, and that's because they work together. But this on its own, just cleanse, facial spray, this serum only, and then some moisturizer is perfect for not only like starting your skincare journey, but just when you have been using a ton of actives recently and you just know your skin needs a break. This is absolutely perfect. We are finally at the end with moisturizers. Moisturizers have the ability to make or break your skincare routine. These are the 3 I have on hand, but there are some more that I would recommend based on your skincare needs. I am almost done with this, but this is a 5% niacinamide. The percentage is super important. Gel cream. This is light. I love wearing this during the day. This is great for an AM in the morning skincare routine. When you've done your whole reset the night before and you're just trying to cleanse, add some hydration, and get the day started, this is amazing for just helping to continue to clear that uneven skin tone and keep you hydrated. I need to learn to breathe when I speak. Usually, if you have acne, I would recommend this anti-acne gel moisturizer. It's got salicylic acid, lactic acid, and I still don't know how to say that. You can read it. I don't know how to say it. This is great for 8 p.m. skincare routine so that because it's a gel, it takes longer to absorb, and you don't want to wear this during the day because if you touch your face or you rub anything on your face, it's going to pill and it's going to be very unpleasant. However, because this has 3 incredibly strong active ingredients, you want to keep the routine leading up to it incredibly simple. A light oil cleanse, followed by a gentle double cleanse. Oh, goodness, I'm gonna knock everything over. I have found it pairs really well with this vitamin serum. And then just this. If my skin absolutely needs it, I'll pair it with a dime-sized amount of a ceramide moisturizer, which contains no active ingredients. It's super important that you don't overwhelm your skin with too many strong actives or you will screw it up completely. I have everything on my table. I'm going to knock it all over if I'm not careful. And then, lastly, my neighbors are so loud. Lastly, I have this Deep Surge Soothing Cream. This contains hyaluronic acid as well as it is a ceramide moisturizer and vegan PDRN. This is great. It pairs well really just with anything that I use because I use everything in light doses to not overwhelm my skin, aside from my anti-acne gel and my 10% niacinamide gel. I like using this at the end of my skincare routine if I'm not using just like a pure ceramide cream, like the really thick lotion kind. If my skin is just not in need of such a thick layer of moisture, I love using this. It's fantastic, and it just can help soothe a lot of skin irritation if you have it.
Products for starting with a really good hydrating cleanser to not irritate the acne. Exfoliating can be really helpful with blackheads, but it's important to know which exfoliants to use. These Glow Recipe Toner Pads contain LHA and AHA. LHA is great for unclogging pores filled with sebum and reduce blackheads similar to salicylic acid, but it is much, much gentler and much more gradual, and it's great for sensitive skin. AHA is also really important because it breaks down dead skin cells and blocked pores. PDRN, well, the one that I have is vegan, can be really great for indirectly helping your acne or your blackheads. Instead of directly dissolving the oil that causes blackheads and buildup, it smooths and evens moisture, preventing the excess oil buildup. A probiotic serum can be really helpful with blackheads by balancing and reducing excessive oil production and helping to strengthen the skin barrier to prevent the congestion that causes blackheads. Niacinamide doesn't just help with excessive acne, but also with blackheads. It doesn't necessarily fix them, but more so is a preventative measure to manage the oiliness that causes them rather than helping to dissolve them over time. It is pretty effective as a long-term skin congestion manager. skincare to the ingredients and when to use them. We're going to start with the cosmetic industry's most recent obsession, which is niacinamide in serum or in donor form. Niacinamide is a pretty light, pretty good to work with ingredient. It tends to work well with things like retinol, hyaluronic acid. It plays nice with most skincare ingredients. When to apply niacinamide, firstly, it would be either in the morning for your sunscreen or in the evening, a little bit before you go to bed. You want it to fully absorb. You don't want to have a wet skincare face, lay on your pillow, and then turn on your side. You want the skincare in your skin, not on your bedding. Layering niacinamide, usually you want to start anything over 10%. You want to start by using 2 to 3 times a week after a proper batch test. 2 to 3 times a week, and very slowly, very carefully increase to daily use, specifically with higher concentrations. I have this one from Skin Effect. It is a brightening serum and it has 10% niacinamide. You want to be careful with higher concentrations. This toner, however, I'm pretty sure, honestly, it might not even have that high of a concentration because it says nowhere on the bottle the concentration. It is a pretty light toner, so it does work well after a gentle cleanser. Almost always use a gentle cleanser. You don't want anything too heavy with active ingredients because too many active ingredients at once is usually what causes dermatitis, skin inflammation, acne. That really rough, red, scaly texture on your skin can come from too many active ingredients, niacinamide being one of them. Specifically with a niacinamide cream, this is the Hadu Hadu Wonder 5% niacinamide radiance gel cream. I will keep it really simple with a light cleanser, regular toner, some vitamin C, a little bit of this. I do about 2 fingertips worth for my face and neck, and then I will layer all of that under a just really good ceramide moisturizer. Usually with most active ingredients, you want to finish with a ceramide moisturizer because it's light and it's really gentle on the skin, specifically if you want your active ingredients to work the best. Vitamin C and hyaluronic acid is probably the most beginner-friendly of active ingredients that you can find in skincare because they are in just about everything. When applying vitamin C and hyaluronic acid, you want to start with, like I said previously, a good gentle cleanser. You usually don't want anything with enzymes because they can be an exfoliant and you don't want to. I usually don't exfoliate if I'm going to use serum, my active ingredients in serum form. I save that for moisturizers with active ingredients. For serums specifically, I will gentle cleanse and then you're going to apply your serums 2 to 3 drops, pumps. Seems to be pretty good for the entire face. I like to let it absorb fully, let it dry before I apply my moisturizer and my sunscreen. Just because you want to layer your consistencies thinnest to thickest to make sure everything locks down. It's not like recommended that you apply them in the morning or at night. They work great for both. Vitamin C and hyaluronic acid do really well to lock in moisture and keep you from drying out. I live in a desert, so this is super important. Next is probiotics. I know a lot of people take them, but they do also in a serum or facial mist form. With applying probiotics, they tend to play very nicely with hyaluronic acid as a good way to just have a very moisturizing skincare routine. Again, best to start with a gentle cleanser toner, and then apply your probiotic serums, usually before your heavier or thicker moisturizers. It's best to pat or press it in instead of just rubbing it in like I would a regular serum. I know that on their website they recommend just using it in the evening and then increasing frequency. I use this when I remember to use it. I feel like that's just what we all do, regardless of brand suggestion. But I do like this facial mist. It's very hydrating. I do like a nice skimming. But I do apply all over my face. I pat it down, I let it dry, and then I apply my other moisturizers. Usually with probiotics, you want to use a really light moisturizer just because you don't want to over scrub and destroy the healthy bacteria that probiotics usually tend to add. EDRN, the scariest skincare ingredient to date. This is the Equalberry rice PDRN. It's vegan, obviously. PDRN can be great for helping to calm down skin inflammation and skin irritation, but it's important to know how you should be using it. We're gonna again start with our gentle cleansers, our toners. PDRN tends to be thick and milky. Lord. So you want to apply this towards the end of your skincare routine. Usually this is going to be the last thing you apply with your others after your other serums, but before your creams. PDRN tends to work really nicely along ceramide, hyaluronic acid, and niacinamide. Layering these correctly can honestly create the best barrier protection hydration routine. Usually you don't want to immediately mix this with retinols or harsh exfoliants like AHAs and BHAs, really just to prevent irritation. I find it best to just keep with a ceramide moisturizer for things like this, just to keep it really nice, really light, so that none of the ingredients irritate each other. You don't want to make them mad. It's everybody's favorite. Can be really good for acne for more mature skin. Really, whatever you use it for, it is really easy to screw up your entire skincare routine if you aren't careful with how you use retinol. Retinol is a great ingredient. Usually, you want to start with 1 to 2 times a week and then slowly, gradually increase to about every other night if your skin can tolerate it. It is a very high active ingredient. For sensitive skin specifically, you want to apply a very thin, light layer of moisturizer. Ceramide moisturizers are my go-to before the retinol to make sure you aren't increasing the risk of irritation and just only slightly decreasing the effectiveness because you're applying this on top of another cream product. When applying your retinol, you want to avoid really sensitive areas like under your eyes or on your nose or on your mouth. You don't want it to just dry these areas out because they can get very scaly. They can get really irritated really quickly. I remember making that mistake once. I had a cluster of pimples around the corners of my mouth. It was awful. So you want to be very careful with retinol. It is a super strong active ingredient and can be great if you keep it with lighter ingredients like vitamin C or niacinamide in very low concentrations. And even PDRN, again, in very low concentrations. You don't want to mix it with really high active ingredients like salicylic acid, benzyl acid, in the same routine, just because it can cause very mild irritation or very severe irritation. salicylic acid and lactic acid should be used on their own. I will scream it from the rooftops. You are not doing yourself any favors if you mix your salicylic acid, your lactic acid, with things like retinol or with really high concentrations of niacinamide. They don't play nicely with others. They don't. If you're going to use lactic acid or salicylic acid, it needs to be the only thing that you're using for that day. A gentle cleanser, just that salicylic acid, lactic acid in whatever form, and then a ceramide moisturizer, ceramide toner with it if you're feeling extra spicy. But what you don't want to do is just apply all of these ingredients at once, especially with salicylic acid and lactic acid. Again, they don't play nicely with other ingredients. Use them on their own. Gentle cleanser, ceramide ceramide toner, lactic acid or salicylic acid, ceramide moisturizer. Just let that be the main active ingredient in your routine for that day, because it just doesn't work very well with other ingredients. It can cause severe irritation, dryness, peeling, redness. It's not smart to use it with other things. I didn't intend for this to become an angry rant about salicylic acid.